So in this one, I'd like to talk about a classical two-dimensional recursive algorithm called as flood-fill algorithm. Uh, it it was introduced to answer or to solve a very simple problem statement. Like, given a very irregular shape, I'd want to fill that shape with a certain color. Since the shape is not regular, say a square or a circle or a rectangle, it's a very irregular shape. And if I want to fill that shape with a certain color, I need a special algorithm to do that. And flood fill does exactly that. So in this one, what we'll be doing is we'll be seeing a very interesting visualization of flood fill, and we'll see where we can see flood fill algorithm in action. Right. So coming back to the problem statement, that given any irregular shape, I want to fill it with a certain color. The idea is very simple. You open any paint application, you see a bucket fill tool. You select a color, you pick a random point within that shape, and you click there. And once you click it, it starts to flood that space with the color of your choice, right? And once it does, it starts to fill that space until it hits the boundary. So it is literally flooding the shape with your color, right? And this is the idea behind flood filling algorithm, right? So the kind of visualization that I've built is, let's just check this thing out. It will give you a very nice gauge of how things happen. What I've done is I've taken a honeycomb like structure having 7 hexagons, and I'd want to fill this honeycomb structure with hashes, right? So within each honeycomb, I'm applying a flood filling algorithm. So let's run and see it in action. So it started with this particular hexagon, and then it moved to other places. The flood filling algorithm is applied within each hexagon, right? So it picks hexagons at random, and then it applies flood fill within it, right? So this is a very interesting way to visualize flood fill. All I've used is Python and just like very basic import statements like OS, time and random, no fancy libraries here or there, right? So what we'll be doing is we'll be going through the code of this visualization to help us understand the flood filling algorithm. In the end, I'll also specify a few places where you can see flood fill in action, and some very interesting research updates about it. So I start with defining a variable called layout, which is a string having this nice looking ASCII art of a honeycomb like structure having 7 hexagons. And what I do is I perform some transformation on that and transform this string into a very familiar 2-dimensional array, so that we can access x comma y and set something into it. This is that. And then I define boundary characters. So what exactly are boundary characters? This is boundary character. So this forward slash, backward slash, round brackets, these are boundary characters, because what happens with flood fill algorithm is you start from a point and you start flooding that space until you hits the boundary. Now what defines a boundary, right? So anytime you encounter a boundary character, you would say that this is a boundary and I need to stop my recursion, right? So this becomes the base condition of your recursion, or the stopping condition of your recursion. So I've defined boundary characters as backward slash, forward slash, quote, underscore, hyphen, depending on the kind of input we have given. So if you are using a 2-dimensional matrix already having ones and zeros, you might use 1 as your boundary. So depending on the values you have at hand, you define those as your boundary, characters. Then I've taken 7 points, 1 from each hexagon, just simulating a random selection of a point, but we'll see this in action when I run. I've defined a function called print layout. What it does is it prints the layout with my current assignment. Like, let's say if I filled it, let's say if I filled 4 hexagons out of it, it would nicely render what I have in my layout with hashes and all. And I just invoked the os.system clear system call to clear my terminal, so that I see a nice animation. The core logic of flood fill algorithm is in the function called underscore flood. It takes in 2 variables or two values, x comma y, in my 2-dimensional array. It's like a point that I've chosen at random, and then what it does is, what it has to do is it starts to flood the shape until it hits the boundary. So what we'll be doing is, we'll start with the very normal boundary checks, that if my selection, so basically while doing the flood fill, it should not go out of my canvas. So basically it should not go out of my two-dimensional space. So this is that check. Then I check for my boundary characters, because if my x comma y is representing a boundary character, I have to stop my recursion there, right? Because it has reached the boundary and now there is no need to continue recursion for that point. I might still need to backtrack other stuff, but I would not need to focus, I do not need to process data for neighbor of that particular point, because I've already hit the boundary. Then I check if my x comma y is already filled. So if it is already filled, I'd be skipping it, because I don't really need to go down that lane again, because I've already made the fill there. Then once I've made all the sanity checks, I would be filling the position with the hex. So layout of x comma y equal to hash is basically filling the space with hash. If you are implementing a visual thing on web or something and you'd want to implement flood fill, you would be putting it with the RGB value of your choice. Then I've added a time.sleep and print layout just to make things a little nicer in the animation. So upon every fill of a certain pixel at x comma y, it would print the layout. And in print we have also defined os.clear, basically os.system may we have passed in clear, so it would clear the screen. This way on the same overlay you would be seeing my layout being rendered, giving it a nice animation like touch. And this is where the core of the algorithm is. After doing all the sanity checks, all the base conditions of recursion, we would also obviously call the function recursively. So I'm invoking underscore flood on its 4 neighbors. So one on the top, one on the bottom, one on the left, one on the right. This is the idea behind it. So I would be invoking the underscore flood function on 4 neighbors, which then it would invoke the function onto their neighbors and their neighbors, and this way we would be covering all the space within the given boundary. Basically all the space within the given shape defined by a certain boundary. And this is the core of this very algorithm, right? So a really simple algorithm to look at, to understand, but has a very interesting use cases in the market. So you'd find it being used at for rendering colors. A few of the AI algorithms are in fact inspired by flood fill. So what I'd recommend is just go to Google Scholar and search for flood fill. You'll land up at some really interesting research papers talking about various optimizations. The one implementation that we are seeing over here is a recursive implementation, but there are obviously simpler iterative implementations as well. And a really interesting one actually optimizes one iterative implementation. So there are very interesting use cases of flood fill and very memory and space efficient implementations of flood fill algorithm. So I would heavily recommend go to Google Scholar and check few of the research papers out. You'll definitely have some fun. So yeah, now after I've defined the flood function, what I've done it is the points that I defined were the points chosen at random for each of the hexagon. I've just done a random shuffle, so every time it starts with a random hexagon and then it actually flood fills it. And then what I'm doing it for those point, so for all the points one by one, I'm invoking flood function, right? As simple as that. So what I'll do is when I run this thing, you'd see the demo, or you'd see the output which we saw some time back, where it started with this, then went here, here, here. This is chosen at random, but within it, it is filling with a recursive flood fill algorithm which we saw just now. Let me pick a point at random and let me pick 6, 6 to get a clear understanding of this. And now I'll just maximize this and run. So this is 6, 6 and it filled this particular hexagon with hashes, right? So yeah, basically this is it for this video. I hope you like this one, you found this amusing. Again, I would like to reiterate, go to Google Scholar and look and just search for flood fill. You will definitely end up at some really interesting research papers out there. And yeah, if you guys like this video, give this video a thumbs up. If you like the content, give this channel a sub. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a ton.